I know this guy. He's very youthful. He does have 2 grandchildren. His family is his number one priority. He likes his quiet time and his solitude, but he's a great guy to party with and break bread.
Sometimes I have hard weeks, like this week was a hard week for me. When I go out there and I get that hike in, I can hit that reset button. Just clear my mind on some things and think about things and how I'll make things better for my kids and my family and all them. I have my son, who's 26 years old. He also has 2 kids. I have a daughter, she's 23. And I'm very, very proud of the both of them because they're both doing so well. I love seeing my grandkids. I love just being able to make them laugh, see them smile. There's nothing better, there's nothing better, being a grandfather right now, and I truly, truly appreciate it. My mom's always been an amazing woman. She's always been there for me. I was raised by my brother and sister's dad, and also my mom married another man, so I consider both of them my father. So my biological father was never a part of my life. I wouldn't ask for better parents. They made me who I am. Right. I was at work and they just came to my job and they say, "Hey, you're under arrest for murder." And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I ain't murder nobody. Like, you gotta have the wrong person. Here he is coming to see me personally, telling me all these things, like, I'm gonna do this for you, I'm gonna do that for you, I'm gonna do that. But then when you actually get in trial, he does nothing for you. When I heard they said that I was guilty, I blacked out. My life was over. They just threw it away like it was nothing. To sit there and try to accept that, you couldn't accept that, I ain't gonna lie, I cried. I went through all kind of different emotions. It was crazy. I was sentenced to 11 years plus life without the possibility of parole. Prison's a dangerous place, whether you're innocent or not, and at any given time, my life can be taken away. And all people are gonna think about, well, he was guilty anyway. I was able to meet some good people in there that still kept a good attitude about life. So those are the type of people I try to surround myself with.
He has paper and a pencil. He has limited use of a law library. Before I even met Jeremy, he had done 10 years worth of legal work. He had run habeases through the state courts and the federal courts on multiple occasions.
My family, like, they know I'm innocent, right? But I feel like I'm giving them false hope. Because every time I get denied, you can kind of see like the wind's being knocked out of me. Just imagine what it's doing to them. I felt like maybe I should just give up and stop all the false hope and just basically just do the rest of my life in prison. But then there was a day that my daughter and my son came and saw me, and I remember my daughter asked me, "Daddy, when you coming home? I want you to come home." And that's the moment right there that kind of like transitions me, like, I'm never gonna stop fighting for my freedom. I'm never gonna stop fighting to prove my innocence. Around 2013, I rewrote them and provided some new evidence for them this time.
It was almost day one that I came to the office. There was this big messy box labeled Puckett. Linda Starr said, "Okay, have at it." Almost immediately, I saw some problems. The sheriff's department in Sacramento had mixed up 2 different cases. And by doing that, they withheld hundreds of pages of exonerating materials.
I remember I was in the medical, and it's like, "Hey, you got a lawyer visit." I'm like, "Me?" And I walk up in there, and she says, "I'm Karen Sanu, and I'm from the Innocence Project." And I was like, wow, like, they're here.
When I started going over what I had learned about the case, I could tell how appreciative he was. He said, "I think they prosecuted this case under the wrong date of death. One of the biggest reasons was a motel receipt that the prosecutor put into evidence, and she simply misstated the dates on the receipt. And none of the jurors picked it up. Jeremy's defense attorney didn't pick it up, but Jeremy picked it up."
She was telling me, like, "You're focusing on that too much, like, that doesn't matter." I'm like, "No, Karen, like, it does matter. Like, this is important. Like, you need to understand what I'm trying to tell you." And I guess one day it dawned on her, like, oh, like he really knew what he was talking about.
He explained why it might be important and told me about his alibi and what he was doing. And it ended up to be a key issue in the exoneration of Jeremy. So from day one, Jeremy was leading this effort.
My first meeting with Jeremy was very interesting. His personal interaction, his genuineness, and his sincerity was just very striking.
Jeremy would give us a list of names and how he thought they would be helpful. His sister and mother also provided names.
We contacted an individual, and during our conversation with her, she blurted out to the effect of, you know, Jeremy is innocent. Jeremy didn't do this homicide.
We just about got the facts all put together, and I said to Jeremy in a visit, now we need someone to really write this. And Linda tells me that Simpson Thatcher says they would like to be involved in one of our cases.
The first time I met Jeremy, he was waist chained. I remember being surprised at his stoicism, just how positive his outlook was on everything. The next step was to draft the habeas petition.
The Supreme Court came to the conclusion that there was something more here to be determined, and it sent the case back to the trial court to have an actual evidentiary hearing.
We are at least going to get to actually present the merits of Jeremy's case and to show the evidence we've assembled and have the court listen to us.
Man, it's like a dream team. That's what it feels like, you know. You see all these people behind you, believing in you and fighting for you. I've been fought all this time myself, and I've been knocked down so many times, and they just pick me up like, we got you. We're going to get you there.
We left that hearing in November of 2019. We felt pretty good. We know we put in a strong case.
My sister and my cousin came and saw me, and there's like a visiting area. It's like upstairs. When I came out, they were like tapping on the window, like, come here, come here, come here. And I stopped, right? And I was like, it can only be one thing.
The judge issued a written ruling.
Our habeas petition is granted on two grounds. It's the Brady violations, they withheld evidence, and it's the ineffective assistance of counsel.
The judge set a hearing for March 13th, 2020. The most striking thing about that day in court was the number of Jeremy's family that was there. The back of the courtroom where spectators sit was jam-packed.
He had been transferred to the Sacramento County Jail, and in the short time he'd been there, he had made friends with some of the employees, and they had come to his hearing as well, because that's just Jeremy. He makes an impression on people.
The judge called the case, and the government dismissed the charges.
To hear the judge say, Mr. Puckett, you're a free man. You're able to go home. Man, I tried to book at her. Hey, open the door, let me out. I'm starting to cry. You know?
His family was outside. They had posters, they had t-shirts.
I can hear my family just saying, Puckett, Puckett. So all these feelings just overwhelming me. Then when it finally spun and I see all my lawyers there, I couldn't help it. I just broke down, started crying, started hugging everybody. I walked outside, and here comes my daughter. She just jumped into my arms, and my sister, my cousin. My dad's in the back. He's sitting by a tree. He's just crying. It was the most wonderful day of my life. You know, just spend some quiet time with my sister. For her to do the things that she did for me, I'll never forget. For her to provide for my kids. You know, my kids didn't have the things that they need. She was there. And just to spend time with my daughter, you know, for the first time, like really spend time with her outside of prison, you know, and to see the woman that she was and she was becoming. Came home the day before the pandemic where they shut everything down. I can't get nothing started. All I want to do is get my life restarted again. I don't want to have to lean on anybody else. I feel like I've been leaning on people for 19 years now. I want to be able to provide for myself, and not being able to do that was frustrating sometimes. Obie Anthony from Exonerating Nation, we were talking one day, and he's like, hey, he had some contacts with the temp service, and they got me a job. That's when things kind of like started clicking, you know, and then I got me a car. Once I got a car, that's when I really felt like I was free. You know, the world shut down, you're not supposed to be out. I was out, and I wanted to live, man. So I was taking nice little road trips here, there, just driving around, just seeing things. These are real good people. Like they're not doing this for fame. They're not doing this for whatever other reason, money, because this is a free thing. They're doing this because they believe in me and my innocence. And for that, for me, was like, I'll always be appreciative of them for that.
I look at him as one of the most inspiring people that I've ever had the privilege of actually meeting. And so I feel like I've grown from knowing him.
Well, how could you not be a better person getting to know Jeremy and getting to know his family?
You don't take your freedom for granted, knowing personally somebody who's had it taken away from them. It makes you appreciate life in a different way.
I'd bring these letters home and read. I still have them. This is the first one he wrote me. I'd bring them home and read them to my family over the dinner table. If this is the perspective that someone can have after they've been treated the worst of the worst in our society, that's a huge lesson for the rest of us.
Most of what I've learned has come from Jeremy and his determination and ability to stay focused on the prize.
There's not enough I can say about Karen, you know. Without her, everything she's done, man, I wouldn't be here right now. I know it's a whole team, but without Karen, man, I don't know. She's not just a lawyer to me, she's like a friend, she's a family member. I'll do anything for Karen. It says only the strong survive. Not everybody makes it out here like that. You know, it's not just a physical thing, it's a mental thing, it's a spiritual thing. You can lose it in so many ways. God had a plan this whole time, you know, and I try not to take things too seriously, because what I came through and what I still got people going through, I got it good. I got it great, actually. So I'll never forget that 19 that I did. Work and work and work. Work, grandkids, parties, fights, football, and hiking. You know, I really found hiking. Nobody likes going with me because I like inclines. You know, but just the peace that I get from it. My freedom means to me everything in the world. My freedom means to me life of my kids, life of my grandkids, life of my family. That's what my freedom means to me.